HP Omen Max 16, packing a razor-sharp OLED that pops colors like a rainbow on espresso. This beefy machine munches through photo edits and handles multi-gigabyte projects like it's snacking on popcorn. The battery life will ghost you halfway through a Lightroom session, and the chassis weighs so much you could skip arm day at the gym. But the pixel-perfect display and smooth, stutter-free multitasking make up for it. If you are not planning to use it untethered, your photo retouching will be as vibrant as your envy for smaller bags. 8 out of 10. MSI Titan 18HX. This behemoth basically demands its own seat on public transport, but its 18-inch mini LED display is so bright and detailed that editing photos feels like painting on a supersized billboard. The performance will chew through your RAW files faster than you can say retouch, although the webcam gets blurry after sundown and lugging this Titan to a cafe might get you odd looks from baristas. If you want pure editing horsepower and do not mind having biceps and zero battery, this monster's a feast. For your photos, not your back. 9 out of 10. Gigabyte AORUS Master 16. With a snappy, oversized display that's nearly 4K and a GPU that laughs at lag, your photo edits will breeze along, as long as you do not mind a plasticky build and a webcam that's determined to show your pale side. The AI software pretends to help, but mostly just switches modes with the enthusiasm of a bored intern, and the hefty price tag puts it in hope you really love your photos territory. It's speedy and capable, but for ergonomics and polish, this editor is more workhorse with style dreams than studio superstar. 6 out of 10. Dell G16. This big boy packs a display so color-rich and bright, your vacation photos might finally look more expensive than the trip itself. Editing feels snappier than your photographer friend's ego, and with high sRGB and DCI P3 scores, your colors pop more than a piñata at a kid's party. The price is reasonable, but the bulk might convince you that it's secretly a gym membership in disguise. 8 out of 10. Gigabyte G6. Calling this a photo editing laptop is like using ketchup as pasta sauce. It works in a pinch, but nobody's proud. The screen's colors are so lackluster, even your uncle's washed-out barbecue pictures might look worse than reality. And while the specs flex hard for gaming, the battery and color accuracy limp behind with all the grace of a tipsy flamingo. If disappointment burned calories, you'd meet your summer fitness goals. 3 out of 10. Apple MacBook Air M4. Sleek and featherlight, the MacBook Air M4 slices through photo edits in Photoshop like a hot knife through butter, but finds Lightroom exports about as thrilling as waiting for a bus in the rain. The screen is sharp, and for typical photo manipulation, it punches way above its paper-thin weight, though power users might need a sidekick for bulk jobs. Overall, it's great for the edit-and-go crowd. Tiny, speedy, but not built for the marathon. 7 out of 10. Acer Predator. Helios 16 AI. This chunky beast can blitz through photo editing like a caffeinated cheetah, but just beware. The battery drains faster than your willpower on a Monday morning. The screen is gorgeous, the performance is top shelf, but if you forget your charger, you will be editing photos on hope alone. For stationary creative crunching, it's a powerhouse, but for actual portability, this thing is basically a desktop on vacation. 7 out of 10. MSI Sword 16HX, sure, it has the power to slice through big projects, but when it comes to color accuracy for photo editing, this screen makes your masterpiece look like it was mixed up in the laundry. Absolutely not what you want. The display only covers about 60% of the sRGB spectrum, so forget vibrant sunsets or perfect skin tones unless washed-out navy blue is your aesthetic. Even with solid specs, the Sword gets dulled by its display and lands in the dungeon for serious editors. 3 out of 10. Asus ROG Strix G16 G635. Want your photos to pop, your layers to fly, and your workspace to look suspiciously like a spaceship? This laptop is powerful enough for editing high-res RAWs and renders creativity with zero hesitation. The display is crisp and color accurate, even if the RGB lights feel like a party every time you power up. The real hero here is how smoothly it handles chunky files. It is bulky and pricey, but if you're after speed and style, this is your top editor's weapon of choice. 9 out of 10. Asus ROG Zephyrus G16 G605. This laptop struts a punchy OLED screen and color coverage so wide, your sunrise edits might actually wake the neighbors. While it claims to be perfect for creators, photo apps sometimes crawl, and importing a heap of files feels like watching paint dry if you go deep into pro workflows. At least it throws in a comfy keyboard and all the needed ports, but for serious editing sprints, it's a promising sprinter that trips at the marathon mark. 6 out of 10. Acer Predator Triton Neo 16. With a splashy matte display that dishes out juicy color and a keyboard that feels like typing on marshmallows, this Triton teases both creators and gamers with its crossover charm. It's got enough horsepower for your Lightroom shenanigans, but the speakers sound like a tin can, and the fans can drown out your creative epiphany if they get revved up. If you are dabbling in edits and want RGB lights while you pretend to game, This one's a solid all-rounder, but not a creative legend. 7 out of 10. Lenovo Legion Pro 7i Gen 10. The Legion Pro 7i is the heavyweight champ here, flexing a glorious 16-inch OLED display and color accuracy tighter than a grandma's hug. Your photos are more lifelike than social media itself. It chews through 4K video and insane batch edits without breaking a sweat, and the build is so premium, even your reflection looks cooler. Unless you really hate RGB lighting or refuse to carry a few extra kilograms, this machine is an absolute photo editing beast. 9 out of 10. MSI Vector 16HX AI. This beast is basically Photoshop's stunt double. 24 brainy cores make your filters and layers fly by faster than you can say content-aware fill. The display is sharper than my wit after 2 coffees, with buttery color accuracy that does your neon sunsets and moody black and whites real justice. The only slow thing here is how long you'll spend just staring at your perfectly edited masterpiece, while the fan stays quieter than your relatives at Thanksgiving. 8 out of 10. Dell Precision 5690. This slab of aluminum is so good at handling pro-level color, your Lightroom sliders will be living their best lives. 100% of the sRGB and 98% DCI-P3 means you see every damn shade your camera tried to capture. The only thing duller than the colors is lugging it around, since it's built sturdier than your editor's deadline reminders and has a battery that just won't quit. The screen is fabulous unless you hate glare, but honestly, your photo edits are going to look so lively, even your cat selfies will deserve a gallery wall. 8 out of 10. Apple MacBook Pro M4. Editing photos on this thing is smoother than a baby's cheek at magic hour. The M4 chip chews through gigantic files and batch edits like it's speed dating for pixels. The Liquid Retina XDR display is so vibrant and true to life, you might start believing your food photos should be immortalized at the Louvre. Battery life lasts longer than most relationships, and the nano texture glare buster means you can color grade at noon on a beach if you really want. 9 out of 10. Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 13. If you want to edit photos while feeling like you're holding a feather, the X1 Carbon Gen 13 is so light, it could probably float off your desk if your RAW files get too spicy. The display pops with vivid color and sharp detail, but let's be real, this thing is more suited for the Excel artist than the Photoshop Picasso, so go easy on those monster megapixel projects. I give it a modest 5 out of 10 for serious photo editing. 5 out of 10. Microsoft Surface Laptop Studio. With its snazzy touchscreen and twisty display, you might start editing photos and end up doodling mustaches on your selfies just for the fun of it. Plus, the Surface Pen feels like a magic wand in Photoshop. The color-rich screen and solid power make editing buttery smooth. But if you throw giant files or marathon batch edits at it, the performance starts to lag behind true creative workhorses. Still, the creativity boost earns it a hearty 7 out of 10 for photo editing. 7 out of 10. Asus ProArt P16 H766. Editing on the ProArt P16 feels like riding a rocket powered by rainbows. The jaw-dropping OLED display hits color so vivid your eyes might throw a parade, and it chews through massive projects with absurd speed, even wrangling 100 photo panoramas without a hiccup. There's so much power and RAM, it almost dares you to make your edits wild and unwieldy, and the clever dial is the cherry on top for precise tweaks. This one's a blazing 9 out of 10 for photo editing. 9 out of 10. Asus Vivobook 16 Flip BP3607. This shiny convertible rocks a vibrant 16-inch OLED display that makes your photos pop so hard, even your cat's selfies will look like gallery art. The battery life is long enough to last through a full editing marathon, but the keyboard is mushier than overcooked noodles. Type at your own risk. Still, for price and punch, it's a solid pick if you do not mind the webcam making your skin tones look like a peach smoothie. 7 out of 10. Lenovo ThinkPad P1 Gen 7. The ThinkPad P1 Gen 7 brings workstation muscle with the kind of power that could edit every wedding photo in town and still have energy left for your honeymoon slideshow. Its battery lasts, the build is sturdy, and that QHD display is sharp, but the fan kicks up such a ruckus you might start looking for the nearest helicopter pad. If you want top-tier photo editing and can tolerate a little white noise, this ThinkPad is almost perfect, minus the price tag that makes your wallet cry. 9 out of 10. Lenovo ThinkPad E16 Gen 2. ThinkPad E16 Gen 2 is the reliable office buddy you trust with spreadsheets, but hand it your RAW files and the washed-out colors and plain display start to look like it is editing with 50 shades of beige. It is quiet, comfy, and has security features galore, but give it demanding photo work, and you will be living that grayscale lifestyle. Best for light-duty edits or folks who think sRGB is a fancy cafe. For serious photographers, this one gets sent home. 4 out of 10. MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo. The MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo brings a glossy screen that will reflect your every awkward post-editing face. But hey, at least your photos will explode with color and detail, thanks to its speedy new processor and vibrant display. It has unexpected lightness, marathon battery life, and all the power you need for heavy Photoshop wizardry, even if the so-called AI features feel about as useful as a selfie stick at a landscape shoot. Port placement is awkward, so you might fumble for your SD card slot, but overall it gets the photo editing job done with flair, just not without a few facepalms. 7 out of 10. Asus ROG Strix G16. This beast thinks it's a gaming laptop, but its screen is so bright and colors so punchy, even your most overexposed RAW files feel at home, though color accuracy comes in just shy of pro standard territory. Performance flies with its monster graphics and fast refresh rate, but it's about as portable as a dictionary made of bricks, so you will be editing from your desk. Skip arm day at the gym. It is a little loud, battery life trails, and unless you moonlight as an esports champion, its flashiness might overshadow your actual photography skills. 6 out of 10. LG G16 2024. LG G16 is so light, you'll keep checking your bag to see if you left it at home, and the OLED display pops so hard that your sunset photos might just burn through your retinas. Battery life is impressive, and editing feels snappy, but the mushy trackpad will make you wish you packed a mouse, and at this price, your bank account needs a Photoshop retouch. If portable editing with dazzling visuals outranks raw muscle, this featherweight nearly floats to the top, unless you crave the power of a photo editing heavyweight. 8 out of 10. Dell Pro Max 16 2025. Dell's Pro Max 16 brings enough muscle to run Photoshop and Lightroom with ease, but you need the fancy QHD Plus panel if you want those colors to really pop. Otherwise, working in sRGB feels about as exciting as gray paint. The design screams premium, but isn't as jaw-dropping as its price tag. Plus, there are no ISV certifications if you care about official validation for creative work. For photo editing, it's solid, but if you miss the QHD Plus upgrade or need color wizardry, just grab a coloring book instead. 6 out of 10. HP's Book Power G11A 2024. This ZBook packs monster graphics and killer battery life that will get you through editing marathons and existential crises, and you even get an SD card slot. Hallelujah for photographers. But the display is about as vibrant as day-old oatmeal. Pretty dull and lacking sharpness and punch, which is a letdown when you're chasing pixel perfection. Sure, the workstation guts will happily munch heavy projects, but for color-critical photo editing, the only thing lively here is your disappointment. 4 out of 10. Lenovo Legion Pro 5 Gen 10. Legion Pro 5 wields great performance and a crisp display that's more than enough for editing your next viral sunset or the 8th version of your cat. Color accuracy is surprisingly solid for its price, though it sticks to just the sRGB color space. Good for most folks, unless you're editing for a NASA mission or your client eats Pantone for breakfast. Build is sturdy, and it multitasks like a caffeinated octopus, making this a winner for regular creative chaos. 8 out of 10. Acer Swift Go 16. Meet the Acer Swift Go 16, which shows up with a dazzling OLED screen and a seriously thin and light vibe. But when it comes to editing those megapixel monster RAW files, its graphics performance feels more like a slow-motion selfie than a high-speed burst. Sure, it can keep your Instagram feed spicy with everyday tweaks, but if you try to color grade a portfolio, you will wish you packed an extra battery and a bigger processor. This thing gets winded fast. So unless you think Lightroom is just a mood ring for your desktop, the Acer Swift Go 16 is more like a no-go for serious photo hustlers. 4 out of 10.